It is Friday, February 13th, 2026, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the West Coast. I am Brannon Beliso, and welcome to Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective, we're just trying to figure out this thing called life. I mean, it's not easy. I know you own a business, and at times it can be extremely challenging. Hopefully, we're going to provide you with information, inspiration, and learning that's going to help you create your version of success, whatever that might be. For me, success is going to be sitting at my son's basketball game tonight while my locations are running themselves. That's my version of success today. I don't know what yours is, but do you? And that's what Success Never Sleeps is all about. I lose sleep over defining what my version of success is. Because if I don't know what that is, do you know how easy it is for me to take on other people's version of success and how easily I'm led astray to be told this is what you need to do to be successful and you must be doing this and that and this and that. And all that does is weaken my own perspective. But I'm not narrow-minded. I am a thinker. I am a learner. You with me? Big difference there. Cool? All right. So let's begin by thanking our sponsors. Sponsor. We have Tucson Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and Kin Creative. All businesses I work with, all people I work with, all people I'm grateful for. They impact my business. They help us, grow, be profitable, tell our story, run efficiently. Take your pick. All right, it's time group mentoring. We got a new group of people. I'm super excited about who we're working with. I think, again, we are not consultants. We don't counsel you, right? We don't console you. We mentor you. We're in the trenches every day, like you, running our businesses in real time. We know what you're going through. We have proven data, proven methods, proven systems that work in our schools. So we're able to figure out and help you what works in your school. And to have somebody side by side with you all the time, to me, is really super powerful. I spent a 6-hour call with my mentor. We do a yearly thing. 6 hours. Man, it's the longest we ever had. But, where I am in my life today, I need that type of mentoring. So there you go. Yeah, I am walking on the treadmill, Bob. You know it. I'm just getting it queued up, getting it ready to go. I want to make sure that I can do both because we're going to be moving around ChatGPT as well as Canva. Oh, yeah. This is my 3rd hour, Bob. So I'm up to I don't know. I do about a mile an hour because it goes about a mile. So I'm not running. And I love it. So AI, artificial intelligence. So you got to take that at face value. It's artificial intelligence. Why do they call it artificial? Because it's fabricated. It's based upon data being fed to a computer. And because it's a supercomputer, what does it do? It's learning as it goes along. Now, human learning and artificial learning are two different things, right? Artificial learning is basically data, a binary number being fed to it, coding. If you look at code, code is a lot of numbers. So I don't think we need to really understand that so much as we need to understand that you, as a human being in your martial arts school, will not be replaced by a robot to teach your classes. Okay? So table that. Put that away. Done day. If anyone's heard the AI-generated Kanye-Drake song together, something, it's not Drake, it's not Kanye, right? So please be aware then, once you can get that off the table, then I believe you can really begin to look at AI as a tool that can help you run your business more efficiently, right? Consistently, and create that freedom of time that you need to do the real work of your business, the architectural work, right? The visionary work. And that's what I was sharing in our mentoring group today in a very small dose. So start with that. I know we've all seen Terminator and we're thinking Terminator and it's Terminator. And so a lot of people are turning a blind eye to AI and they're offering themselves zero experience, zero education with any of it. But be mindful, it's already there. It works. Here's a classic example, right? You go to Amazon and you look at a product. Immediately you see that product in your Facebook feed. How is that possible? Because they're all sharing the same data. They want good data. They want consistent data because that builds trust. If I can say 1+1 = 2 at OpenAI, and I go to Chat and I go to Gemini and it says 1+1 = 2, and I open Grok on my Tesla and I say 1+1 = 2, then it's a good day. We all can agree upon, the data will agree upon 1+1 = 2. Cool? So they're drawing from the same data. So it's important for me, and here's because AI is definitely impacting the internet. The data you post at your Google business page, your Instagram, your Facebook, everything, please make sure it is consistent. It is consistent because it's going to pull from the most consistent data. If all of a sudden it says you're open Saturdays at 9 a.m. and it said 50,000 times I'm open at 9 a.m., then one little piece of, says you were open at 11. Well, it's going to disregard that and it's going to go with the 9 a.m., right? But you need to be consistent. Super, super important. Okay. The next thing, the way AI is influencing the environment a lot, especially when it comes to social media, Meta has implemented a thing called Andromeda. Andromeda is where we run ads now. You don't just run 2 ads and A/B split tests. We're running 25 ads for our school right now because it's all about messaging. The messaging could be get off your devices, invest in your child's future. If they're shy, need to learn confidence, they're being bullied. All those messages collectively are being ran as Facebook ads. Why? Because the average person has about 30,000 touch points now throughout the internet. Think about it. You book an airline ticket. You're looking at reels. You look at sports scores. You go to Amazon. You do this. You go to your Facebook. All of those are touch points. And all of those are data to understand how you behave. So the one thing I want you to stop doing right now is starting any of your social media posts with the city and parents. I used to almost religiously, Millbrae parents, San Francisco parents, Millbrae parents. It's not needed anymore because with AI, they'll take whatever post you have and it'll be shown to the people that need to see it. That's what's super cool. So something as simple as when I would run a Facebook ad, I would do a custom lookalike audience, right? I want to do this audience, only moms, between the ages of 30 and 40, and they have kids 6 years old and da-da-da-da-da. You don't even have to do that anymore. So I'm going to encourage you to really start working on your messaging in relationship to AI because they want messages. What do you stand for? What do you believe in? What makes your school unique versus Joe Karate down the street? Okay? So really start working on that message and make sure at some point it's consistent. That message is consistent. Ours is live your best life. We're using it everywhere. We use it everywhere. Everywhere. Look at my website. Look at our social media posts. At the end of the show, I'll say live your best life. Everything on Brannon Beliso is being tied to live your best life. And the internet knows that because it's gathering that data, right? Data is king. Make no mistake. Data is where everything is. As long as they control the data, they can control how to influence you. You with me? All right. So that's something you can clean up immediately. Go into your Google, go into all that, and anything that's obsolete, clear it out. But make sure whatever is there, it is consistent. If it's all about goals, achieving goals, earning goals, like goals martial arts, then live and die by that. Because that form of messaging, whether it's bullying, whether it's confidence, whether it's get off your devices, the goal is to help your child be a better version of himself, hypothetically, right? That's an example of that. But you want to be consistent in your messaging, okay? No matter what the theme or topic, it all ties back to what? Why you should bring your kid into goals martial arts. You with me? And same thing with your website and everything else. Please clean it up. Make sure it's consistent. Make sure you have some type of message, some type of brand message that we can all lean into. All right. So that's the first area that we're really working on as the work I do with Kin Creative and all the ads we're running. I'm learning the way Andromeda behaves and what we need to do to have the type of traction with our ads on social media and all the rest. And it's being implemented. Last week, Adam of Kin Creative did a whole thing on Instagram because if they run great ads for you, but your Instagram isn't up to snuff, your Facebook's not up to snuff, then they're going to think you just have some ad agency, doing a campaign for you. But that they see what's in your ads is in your Instagram, is in your Facebook, and you're living well in those native environments, because Instagram behaves differently than Facebook. You can't put a link, right, for something you post at Instagram. You can't. It has to be in the bio. See, something as basic as that, the way you form the picture, right? Instagram is more of a square, where Facebook you can do more of a presentation style. See, so those little things like that really helps the data know that you respect what they do and you know how to live in their native environments. Again, AI is really amplifying this to no end, to no end. And there's platforms out there you can create an ad and it'll reformat it for Instagram, reformat it for TikTok. It'll do all that. And you should be leveraging that. But if you're not managing your social media in a way that is advantageous, you're going to get left behind. And AI is really driving that now. It's really driving that now. Cool. And if we all have a business page, which we should at Facebook and Instagram, that caters to the public. And you should also have an Facebook friends and family page, because you speak differently to your tribe than you do to potential leads. Please, something as basic as that. All right. Hello, Resilient Martial Arts. James, how are you, sir? And as you come aboard, say hello. Tell me where you're tuning in from, as we negotiate this space. Okay. I started working with AI into it myself about 2 years ago. I took an AI course out of Stanford to understand, learning models, knowledge bases, how it behaves, all of it. And it's allowing us to respond to leads better and faster than we ever have. Right now, I'm in a really big project with my studio's Amplify, which is their AI version. Because you have a mom, and we get these all the time, because a school owner was asking me recently, what do I do about this? Sundays, a lot of us get leads. Why? Mom's done with the week. She's got some time. The kids are in bed. It's 9:30 at night. She's having her glass of wine, looking at the internet, finds your martial arts school. Now, I know the rule of thumb has always been call them within 5 minutes of receiving the opt-in. Who wants to be called by anybody 9 o'clock at night on a Sunday? Go. They don't. So what we're doing with Amplify, which is really brilliant, when you opt into our lead, the lead gets zapped. Zapier is the way they communicate. It gets zapped into my studio, and they're automatically going to start talking to an AI agent. And the reason I think AI agents are superior to automations are just timed responses. They opt in. Maybe as soon as they opt in, it says, hi, this is One Martial Arts. Is this for you or your child, right? You can't do that with automation. It's simply, hi, I'm going to be giving you some information you need to make a decision for a trial. 1 minute later, another text or email goes through. Here's our schedule. A minute after that, another one. So that's the problem with automations. They're outmoded because they don't really create rapport with the person on the other end, and it's just information. So never do they get a reason to come to you versus Joe Karate down the street, other than statistics, operating hours, time to schedule a trial. Here's the link. What they're really understanding, which I think AI gets very well, is they understand if I can build rapport with you and create a connection somehow, some way, then I'm more likely to want to sign up for a trial. So what's neat about an AI agent, it can talk to them in real time, answer back and forth, conversation style. But the hard part is you have to give the right data to that AI agent, and that becomes your knowledge base, right? This is my knowledge base. The way I've done it is I went into ChatGPT first, and I created an AI agent, and I talked to it for hours. Here's the good and bad. The good part is we now have this database of youth karate, excellent kids, kickboxing, summer camp, after school, all under one agent. Stay with me because I want you to get this. The challenge with that is all the AI agent should be doing is focusing on getting them signed up for the one program they're interested in. Because I thought, well, maybe they have a sibling, or maybe they want to be interested in our camps, or maybe they want to. No, you want to be very specific to the program. So when you start setting up your knowledge base, you're basically answering all these different questions that a mom might have about her child enrolling in your youth martial arts program. You with me? So now when that mom at 9 o'clock on a Sunday is having her glass of wine and she opts in, it's going to say, hi, my name is Lisa. I am the AI agent for One Martial Arts. My purpose is to help best answer all of your questions and give you the right information. So hopefully you'll be inspired to sign up for a trial. And even those choice of words, I don't want ChatGPT deciding that moms across the country like the word Scooby-Doo and it's going to use it in everything that it does for me. I want to make sure that AI agent culturally is communicating the brand message of One Martial Arts. Ours is live your best life. James is resilient, right? Bob is goals. You don't want all of us singing the same song. Does that make sense? Confidence building. If we all said that repeatedly, with an AI agent, then the consumer is not going to know who to buy from because we're all singing the same song. Case in point, I don't know what popular hamburger chain is out now. How is it they can take a hamburger and keep reinventing it in Five Guys, In-N-Out Burger, whatever, Super Duper Burger, whoever's out there now? That to me is amazing because it's tested, but it's how you sing your song. And it is your brand message. So I really love it because I love messaging. I love creating brands that are unique. Very powerful to me. So this is right up my alley. So I'm loving where this is going. So you see how that could really work? Because it's impossible to get to a lead within 5 minutes. It's just impossible. You don't have that bandwidth. I used to sit there in the middle of teaching a class and my phone would be going beep, beep, and I knew it was another lead. And I so desperately wanted to get that lead so I could get a new student. Not any longer. Not any longer. So once we build this with ChatGPT, we'll import it into my studio. And each location is going to have several agents. One for youth karate, one for day camps, one for fitness kickboxing, on and on. You with me? Just don't make my mistake, which they found was brilliant in hindsight for really culturally, and build those AI agents for each individual program. Cool. So I'm sure my studio does it. I don't know if the other ones do it, but you should be able to have an AI agent answering your phone. That's the next one I'm working on with Market Muscles. We basically put taps on our phones to gather data. And from that, we're going to be able to have people call our school and an AI agent will talk to them. How cool is that? How cool is that, right? Because even if you have a front desk person, because most of your smaller schools, what is it? 4 to 8, they're there. And that's the worst time to be answering phone calls when they're trying to serve people. So again, AI agents are perfectly acceptable. Perfectly. I book flights. I never talk to anybody. I buy tickets for this. I do so many things. I never talk to a human being. It's just not necessary in today's world. But what do people tell you? It's not good customer service. It's not. No, it's your narrow-minded thinking. That's really what it is. Because a lot of AI is totally acceptable, right? Walk into Shake Shack. Nobody serves me. I walk up to an iPad and I order my food. That's it. I sit at the table with the little number and somebody brings it to me. That's it. It is more than acceptable. It is considered the norm because it offers convenience and efficiency. It really does. Just like when you walk into our schools, there's iPads and you take your own attendance. We don't take your attendance, you take it because we're teaching. That's what we should be doing. You with me? So leveraging technology is super important, but if you can't get past, Terminator 1, then you'll never invest in these types of things. Cool? Super important. All right. So that's one example of how we're leveraging AI to help process leads much, much, much better than automations ever could. Ever could. Now, I'm working on the automations once you sign up and you're an active student. We no longer do these big, thick, welcoming binders with 1,000 things in it people will never read. We're now trying to tell that customer journey story from, okay, they just signed up. Welcome to the family at One Martial Arts. We're very grateful that you chose, to let us help your child live their best life. Here's a few things to know. Download the app. Here's the link, things like that. And then another video will be, another email will be, did you know? Have you looked at the curriculum videos? If you go into your app, which you can download here, blah, 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 and then it's just, and you tell those stories, but they're in bite-sized pieces. If the average person watches 3 seconds of a YouTube video, understand, don't give them a whole book. Yeah, I just discouraged the school owner from doing that. Is getting ready to do this new welcoming binder and it had it was like freaking an encyclopedia or something. And I said, please don't do that. You're better off doing it in small chunks. Conversation with that new parent after a class when you're talking about the progress of their child. Did you know we have this app and there's videos? See, those types of things, right? They have to be, because once you understand your brand message, you live, teach, and preach. You do it through emails. You do it through, texting. You do it through verbal conversations. You do it in class. You do it all the time in announcements at the end of class. So all of those things are happening simultaneously. And with AI being present, it allows us to do that human part even better. Cool? All right. So another great way you could be using AI. Can we do a chat GPT, Marco? Let's open one up. Okay, so here we go. Let's start and see the big thing I learned in the AI course that I took: garbage in, garbage out. Write it down. Garbage in, garbage out. If I ask ChatGPT some lame question because I'm too damn lazy to at least think about what it is I want to do here, it's going to give me a bunch of data I could probably never, ever use. Never use? No, never use. Okay, so let's do something very basic. One of the things I'm always talking about is systems. Systems. Okay, systems is a big one. So Marco, type in here. I want to write a system to train 17-year-old martial artists to lead a warm-up to a group of kids ages 6 to 9 years old. I want you to take the top 5 forms of exercise that best serve warming up a child safely. In that warm-up, I want to include sayings that promote the culture of onemartialarts.com. The most impactful being live your best life. I need this warm up to be 5 minutes long. Include all verbal cues to the students as well as verbal cues to help them feel safe, supported, and to grow their confidence. All right, then hit send, Marco. Let's see what we get. Now, as you can see, I really thought that out, right? And that was just off the cuff, folks. That's just off the cuff. One martial arts, 5-minute warm-up. See the prompts? It spit it back what I wanted to do. Okay, so there we go. Minute 0 to 30 seconds. Wow. Opening circle. Why? Because a lot of kids still learn that way. Does that say circle, Marco? I can't see that. Can you make that any bigger? Everything, yeah, because I'm reading. It's like this big on my screen. There you go. A little more. Okay, there you go. Leader, you, 17-year-old martial artist, age group 5 to 7, total time 5 minutes. Goal, warm body, build confidence, reinforce culture. Okay, let's see what the first one's about. Opening circle, safety and culture. What's that say? Verbal script, feet together, eyes on me. Today, we train as one team. Okay, that's not bad, right? At One Martial Arts, we respect ourselves, we respect our teammates, and we always do our best. Who's ready to live their best life today? Okay, great. So what's the top 5 warm-ups? Ninja jog in place, right? Running is standard. Every kid can run. Oh, they're going to throw pictures in there, huh? Keep going. What's after ninja jog? We always run first. Frog jumps, right? Yep. We call those jump squats. Absolutely. What's next? Air punches and strong stance. We do that. We do punches. That's part of our warm-up. Huh, what's next? Windmill arm circles. We don't do that. We don't. What's next? Power breathing. That's warrior. That's yoga. Again, we don't do that. See? So again, now I'm going to say, why aren't we using jumping jacks and push-ups and sit-ups, which are very standard forms of warming up? And if you're coming aboard, say hi. Let me know you're here. We're going down the rabbit hole of ChatGPT for a moment, and we're trying to create a warm-up that not only communicates safely what kids should be doing, cultural reinforcements. Work these into developmental safety. Coordination is still developing. Core strength is limited. Yep. Push-ups. Push-ups require core intensity. That's why they don't do push-ups, right? Yep. Yeah, and I'll admit to this, and this is why I wanted to do this. How many of your kids do push-ups well? Not a lot. Not a lot. So in some ways, it's kind of like they think one day we won't have a thumb anymore, right? Except now because of texting. I think that's changing. It's hard to get kids to do push-ups. So we'll change things, like we'll have them do the plank. Instead of doing a traditional sit-up, they'll do leg raises, right, to work core strength. They'll stand up and do alternating knees. That builds core strength. So that's why ChatGPT didn't put in push-ups, sit-ups, and jumping jacks. You with me? But if you wanted to be very specific and say, no, I want jumping jacks, I want push-ups, I want them to be there, that is the culture of our school, so be it. But see where this is going? You're able to work with an agent like this and craft different warm-ups. And then I can go on to say, give me an actual method to teach this in a group environment. On and on and on. And we can get out of this now, Marco. On and on and on. Are you with me? But so, there you go. I love this question. Yep, the SAFE method. Show, assist, feedback. Yeah. Good, see? So there's a system to be able to teach kids. You show it to them, you assist them, you give them feedback, and you empower. Wow. Now let's apply it to push-ups. Okay. Demonstrate the push-up yourself. Assist them, right? Assist them in that process. See, this is a great method by itself. It's really cool, right? You offer them feedback, not criticism, and then you empower them, right? I love it. I love it. I love it. And there's jumping jacks and on and on. All right. Let's close this window out, Marco. Okay. So you see where I'm going with that? In the old days, I took a yellow legal pad and I wrote out this whole system of warming up people. Nowadays, if you really want to do it, I'm going to tell you what to do. Because you can't use videos and stuff to upload, to transcribe, I'm going to ask you to record the audio part of your warm-up, your best warm-up. Take that audio, right? You can transcribe it through an app. There's various ones that do it. Right now, this whole thing in StreamYard is being transcribed if we choose, right? You transcribe it into written. Then you load it into ChatGPT and say the same thing. Take this document, Word doc, or of this warm-up, and I want you to put it into a format that could be understood by a teen, the ages of 15 to 18, and then I need a method to train them on it. Hey, Chris, what's happening, sir? Chris Cameron, it has been a minute. Hello, sir. We're talking about how to take AI to make things more efficient. All right, so that's how you write systems, because you need systems. And now with the advent of OpenAI, and I like ChatGPT because for me, they've been around the longest and they fundamentally do what I need pretty well. I have Grok in my car and I use that AI in conversations. I've also used Gemini. I think Google's Gemini is pretty good. But ultimately, remember, they're all pulling from the same data, right? They need to pull from the same data so the integrity is there, the trust is there. 1 + 1 = 2 at Grok, 1 + 1 = 2 at Gemini, 1 + 1 = 2 at OpenAI. You with me? That's super important because they want good data, but it's always updating. ChatGPT just got rid of, I think, version 4, and they're on 5.2 now, because the problem with version 4 of ChatGPT, anything you said to it, it agreed with you because it wanted to appease you, right? It wanted to appease you. That's not good. So I have physically gone into ChatGPT and I had a discussion with an AI engineer where we tell it, don't coddle me. Don't tell me everything is correct. I want you to challenge me. I want you to offer me alternatives that may help me make this better. And so that's a prompt, right? That now it functions from that place. But originally the 4.0 would say yes to everything. Not good. You don't want a bunch of yes people, especially when it comes to, something you're trying to cultivate. All right. So that's how you would do a system. How simple is that? How simple is that? So record the audio of your best warm up, have it transcribed into text, put it into ChatGPT and say, write me a warm up. Then write me a system to train this team. There you go. You could do the same thing with opening the school. You could do the same thing with following up on a lead. All of those things can be done for you, leveraging the power of AI. And they can be done efficiently. It's just overwhelming. What it takes a human to learn in a lifetime, ChatGPT can do it in 7 minutes. Something like that. It was crazy when the AI engineer told me that. I said, what? But that's where they're at. So leveraging it is a good thing. Thinking like it's Terminator, bad day, stop it. It's not going to help you at all. All right. So that's an example of that. So that's one platform I want you to begin exploring. I think it's a great one. And as you have discussions with it, you'll see how it behaves. But if you don't do it at all, you're going to get left behind, right? If you're not taking attendance on iPads, you're going to get left behind, right? We have 1,000 students. I can't do Rolodex cards. My goodness, right? The power of a great app where parents can go in there and text you, where parents can go in there and update a credit card, where they get in, I was just talking to a school and he says, well, when someone's delinquent, we have to call them. No, you don't. Your CRM system should send them a notice saying your credit card was declined. I get them all the time for other things, right? We all do. So that's very acceptable. And they should be getting the same notification from you, not you sitting there taking, an hour out of your day to call this person. And that doesn't help rapport. Well, how funky is that conversation? Your credit card declined. No, let it be automated. Let that be handled. Cool. I think the biggest part for me that I miss sometimes is because you set it and forget it. I asked TJ that the other day. Is this really working? Are you sure this is working? I don't know. Is this working? Right? Because there's ghosts in the machine and all of a sudden it works one day and the next day, it gets a bug. So again, I think being mindful and testing these systems is a big part. That's why when you get an update on your phone, update. You get an update on the CRM, update it. That's something, the other day, I don't know who it was. It's like they hadn't updated their operating system in their Mac. And it's like, dude, you're on like 15 and this thing's on 23.8. What are you doing? Right? So again, those type of new habits, if you appreciate what AI can do for you, can really serve you well. Cool. All right. Another platform that's AI based that you should be leveraging is Canva, Canva. Marco, I'm going to challenge you here, sir. I want you to show us some of your best work in Canva that started as maybe a template. Okay. I like sometimes using templates because they give me a base, right? If you're not a very creative person, I'm extremely creative. A lot of people are not. Right? They are not. So you need a base. And if it's just a flyer for a parents' night out or something like that, come on. It's not rocket science, but you can develop brand kits. I don't know if we can get Canva open, Marco. Marco's brand is pretty dialed in, so I want to use Marco's. Come on, Marco. Okay, so this is Marco's environment. Now, I'm going to challenge Marco for a minute. I want you to go to the home. Go to the home of Canva. Is that the home? Okay, you see the right below today, Open AI or Canva AI. Let's go to Canva AI. Right, because I don't work in Canva AI a lot. Do you see it? Right there below the blue word today. Okay, here we are. Type in there, Marco. Using the brand kit of Focus Martial Arts and brand message, I want you to create a flyer for me that I can use to promote a St. Patrick's Day event, which is for the families of Focus Martial Arts. It will include games, snacks, and giveaway prizes. It's a great opportunity. Oh, what happened there? What are you doing? Oh, man, it's already generating. Okay, we'll keep talking to it. Let's see what it produces. We didn't even get to add the date and time yet, sir. Okay, there's his brand colors, right? I think it's a start, right? It's a start, but now you can edit it, change the photos, do different things. But that took what, 5 seconds? Add in there a date, Marco. Tell them to use your logo if they haven't used it already. And tell them to use the photos you have here already in the uploads of Canva. And if you're coming aboard, I know a lot of people watch the show and they just sit in the background, but I love to know you're with me, and I'm grateful Chris is here, James is here, Bob is here. I'm so grateful that you're with us. Sometimes I feel like I talk into a void, but I'm very thankful. So if you're here and you're listening and watching, please let us know. Okay, so now we're getting closer. Pick any one of them, Marco, and open them up. You like that one? Sure. Okay. So there we go. Obviously, you want to change the picture. So edit the picture, Marco, and pop one of yours in there. Anything with kids, right? So he can go in there and Marco can change the photo. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine for now. Boom. Now it's got a photo. Oh, my goodness, right? St. Patrick's Day Parents Night Out. And you can add stuff. You can edit. You can add your logo. Add your logo in there, Marco. Maybe on the bottom right corner would be nice. On and on. You see where we're going with this? How fast was that? How fast was that? This has literally been a minute, right? So that's where AI can help you if you're not a creative person. It can get you started, right? Get you started, right? Me and Marco are very creative, so we do our own stuff. We often don't lean into templates, but templates aren't horrible, right? Again, when I come into your school and I see a handwritten sign that says out of order on your bathroom, I'm so challenged by that you can't open a computer and put sorry for the convenience, blah, 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 with your logo, and write it out. See, there you go. Boom, drop in the logo. Hey, on and on and on. Why don't you add some shamrocks in there somewhere, Marco? Up in the over the top, the right and left corner, add some shamrocks, right? And on and on. The point I'm trying to make, I've been using Canva for about 3 years now, and I'm just so challenged when school owners have no learning of a product as basic as this that can help. Yeah, sure. I love it, Marco. Nice, right? Yeah, you can make a big shamrock and put the Focus Martial Arts in the middle. You can do so many things is the point I'm trying to make. And if you start with an OpenAI version or grab one of their templates, the potential of it is unlimited. Unlimited. You with me? So again, I've used it to reformat instructors training. I've asked it ideas of, how to lay this out so a 17-year-old will understand it better. I've even questioned some of my flyers going, would this appeal to a mom with a 6-year-old kid? Right? I can take a PDF of this thing right here and go back to Open Canva AI and say, please, is there anything you would recommend to improve this flyer so it would inspire a family to want to sign up, their kid? You can even do that. You can do that. So Marco can take any of his ready-made flyers, throw them into Canva AI, and have that conversation. Take a look at this flyer. What's 3 things you would suggest to improve it? Go. Boom. And even that. Because remember, it's drawing from data. And data does not lie, right? Data does not lie. All right, go ahead and get out of Canva there, Marco. All right, so we covered starting to work with AI agents, right? At least one, beginning to write systems. We discussed how you can leverage Canva to start creating branded flyers and communications that are so much better than anything any of us could probably do left to our own devices. I create graphics for kin. I'll spend 8 to 12 hours on one graphic easily. When I write a script, I'll spend 24 hours on a script to write messaging for Kin Creative. But I'm a writer. I understand that process. And I only teach 1 day a week, so I have that time. You may not. And if you don't, learning how to use these tools efficiently enough for you so you're not sitting there on a Sunday calling all of the declined credit cards, people's payments were missed. No. That should be totally automated. And that is AI. Automations like that are AI ran in today's world. All of it is. All of it. Updates on your phone. If I'm sitting in the airport, I want to know updates, and they're coming through my phone. That's all AI generated. It's here more than you think it is. A lot more. But be mindful. It needs guardrails. If you're not going to create anything and you're just going to let AI tell your story, that's a very bad choice. That's a very, very bad choice. Because people don't buy things. People want to belong to something special. People want to know they're heard. People want to feel like they can share their feelings and be in a space where that's safe and supported. And that's really what we can do in our martial arts schools, right? That student that comes 30 minutes early and stays an hour later, that's a good day. That's a good day. That means they want to be there. They don't want to leave. Same thing with parents. It's a good day. It's a really good day, right? So I want you to think about this. And the 2 things I would explore right now is at least just open up OpenAI and start talking to it, right? You need to cultivate your brand message, feed it your URL, feed it your social media. Say, this is Resilient Martial Arts business page. This is our friends and family at Facebook. Here's our Instagram. Here's my, but it won't take it and replicate it because it's copyright infringement. It won't physically do that. If you're going to do a flyer in Canva, you have to load up your logo into it and things like that. But you can begin having these conversations that you need to have to cultivate your brand that will really, really make a difference. Cool? All right. So let's take a few minutes, open it up to questions before we wrap this up today. I don't want to overload you. So those are the 2 things I would encourage you to begin exploring heavily. And that would be 1, OpenAI, creating a chat bot, right? And just starting to converse with it, see the potential of what it can do, especially when it comes to your brand. If I put in resilient URL, resilient Facebook page, resilient Instagram, right? I cut and paste copy of my about page of who I am. I can sit there and say, formulate me a brand from this. I want a purpose statement from this. Oh yeah. I want a purpose statement. Give me 10 top core values that support resilient martial arts. Give me 10 actionable steps I can train a team on that they should be following through on to encourage and, and promote the brand of resilient martial arts. Absolutely. But at least it's a starting point, that you can work from and begin cultivating messages. Yeah, I know. I'm 64. I grew up with no cell phones. I grew up with no computers. They didn't exist. This PC I'm looking at, we didn't have that when I was 5. Didn't exist. It did not exist, right? Let's say, created my own full brand document available on request for those who'd like to see it. Sure. You can give that to them, created my own full brand. Yep. And that's what we do. Because make no mistake, Apple is Apple because it's a well-known brand. Are there computers better than Apple? Some would say. Are there better phones than the iPhone? Some would say. Are there better tablets than the iPad? Some would say. But why is Apple one of the top 10 stocks in the world and one of the biggest, richest companies? Because their brand is everything. And they do everything they can to protect that brand, control the narrative. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And they've stood the test of time. It's a company from the 1970s or something, right? Same thing with Disney, same thing with Nike, right? If we can take a little bit of that and leverage that into our schools, the magic that can happen is pretty phenomenal. It really is. And again, leveraging AI to help us tell that story, is super important. But I think the big thing I want you to be aware of with that is garbage in, garbage out. That's the first thing I learned from Andrew Yang, I think it was, from Stanford. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed it good data, you feed it the right prompts, you're going to get really great creative responses that can really help you write a system, that can really help you do these different things. If you blindly say, hi, my name is Fred, write me a system to train my guys on to teach karate. Oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I think that's the big thing. So let's see what Chris says. I build and use a business advisory group. Super powerful to throw ideas at and get GPT arguing with each other and providing opinions. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And with the upgrade, right, from 4.0, where it simply was a yes person and trying to appease you, yeah, ChatGPT will challenge you. And I love that. I love that. We have also developed a Kaizen leadership program with 3 levels and workbooks, which we use to meet once a week. Wonderful, James, right? Wonderful. I mean, you have to have systems. You want to drive your school, right? You want to grow a team. You can't delegate what you can't define. And leveraging something as simple as ChatGPT to help you define a task, define how to do the warm-up, define how to teach this stripe, define how to handle belt promotion, define how to do parents' night out, define it, then you can train people on it. And then you can delegate those tasks and be at peace knowing that they're going to run that event well. You with me? So yeah, but again, garbage in, garbage out. If I could ask you to write down one takeaway, garbage in, garbage out. Do not blindly trust AI to come up with all these things for you. Once you get that doc, you edit it, rewrite, insert yourself. Anything that's not you, take it out, right? I even just out of my mindfulness, because I've spent so much time, in these environments, I check everything for AI plagiarism. I want to make sure subconsciously I didn't read something somewhere, right? And then all of a sudden it's showing up in one of my, pieces of work, and it's plagiarism. So I'm always checking for AI plagiarism. Case in point. Who remembers how I used to say, the Dalai Lama used to say, it's easy to be great when things are going your way. Can you be great when life is difficult? That's what builds character. That's what makes us better people. Dalai Lama didn't write that. I did. But I thought I had read it somewhere by the Dalai Lama, and I was quoting Dalai Lama. Then one day I thought I'd go down the rabbit hole, since we have open AI, and I went through it and asked it every which way, and it said, no, Brannon Beliso wrote that. See? So again, subconsciously, I have to be mindful what I take in from the internet and ChatGPT and all the rest, that I don't lose individuality, that I don't lose creativity. Because that's what makes your brand unique. There's only one Goals martial art. There's only one Resilient martial arts. And if you're not singing that song, then you can't separate yourself from the noise, right, of what's going on out there. And if I'm a mom with a 6-year-old kid on a Sunday night at 9 o'clock, I'm going to be chilling, knowing that this great AI agent is right there, ready to answer all the questions that we fed it, that we've programmed into it, to respond really, really well, to create an emotional connection with this mom. I know, it's weird, right? How can AI create an emotional connection? Name a line in a song when you see it that just connects with you emotionally. Think of a phrase in a book that you read that creates an emotional connection with you. You with me? Think of a card you pick up in just the store, Hallmark greeting card, and the front of it inspires you to open it and think about getting it for your loved one. So you see where I'm going with that? We simply dismiss it. AI, artificial. It's artificial. Not if I write it. Not if I write it. Not at all. See where I'm going with this? And now more than ever, it's going to allow you to create your brand and really refine it, right? Iron sharpens iron, a really great brand that is clear and definitive, that creates emotional connections with people. And through that messaging, you're going to get better leads. We're all after better leads. You're going to get more people inspired to show up for the trial. You're going to get more inspired people to sign up, right? And that's just a tip. Everything you deliver in the school is on you. But I'm saying we're witnessing it. We had 40 new students in January in SF, or 50. Yeah, and then like 30 something in Millbrae, because I believe we should be at 600 students a location. So I'm going after it in every way possible. Retention, everything. I shared that we already revamped the curriculum completely. We shot 4 years of new curriculum videos, white to black. We've changed our schedule, so white belts don't have to leave and go to a year one class after. It's just all these things, and they're finally paying off. There you go. There you go. Cool. So no takeaways today. Let's start wrapping it up, Marco. I want to begin by thanking my sponsors. And if you have anything you want to ask, questions, takeaways, please put them in there. Please put them in there. Tusaw, Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, Kin Creative. People I love, people I respect as people. No relationship is perfect, but I know they're always going to improve their products and do a better job. Even on the days I'm most frustrated, I recognize if I leave one of them and go somewhere else, it's just a different set of challenges. So I really look for the people, because the people that I know will make good on their word, the people that will fix the things that are wrong, and they happen, especially if you're dealing with software stuff, right? Is a martial arts facility going to miss not sending you belts and get the wrong order? Yep, going to happen. Is your website going to have a glitch? Yep. Is your CRM system maybe missing a billing or something? Yep, absolutely. Is Kids Love Life Skills going to mess up your order and send you the wrong badges? Yep, it's going to happen. You see where I'm going with this? So it's really about, do you believe in the people? And everybody here you see in my sponsors, I believe in these people with my heart. Cool. And our mentoring, we have this new version. It's a lot more economical than my wisdom program, because I just don't have time to do that. And now working with Marco and Jason and Monique as a team, we're impacting businesses. Talked to Noah Seidel, went from 68 to 230, but it's reasonable in pricing, because I know budget is a concern for the small school owner, but it's still fair to us. So think about joining our It's Time group mentoring. I didn't put it up there. I just found the dates, but November 7 through 11, we're going to have It's Time Live United. That's going to be our next incarnation here in Millbrae, California, 5 minutes from the airport. Look for the links to that and stuff coming up in the next week or so. Only 20 school owners, 4 days. United is a very important thing for me at this time in life and the world. As I say, united, not divided, right? We want to be united. And if we let that be a guiding principle for our businesses, then it's never me against the team. It's never I'm the boss and their employees. It's not the parents need to understand, right? We're all united. So let's figure it out. Let's come to a compromise. Let's find a resolution. That's our theme for not only It's Time Live this year, but for everything I'm doing, right? A lot of people don't believe in my philosophies. That's okay. We can agree to disagree. But us being human beings, united, finding a way to harmoniously exist together is vital for our industry, for our schools, for our team, for our personal relationships. You with me? So that's It's Time Live this year. Yeah, you like that? I'm feeling it already. I'm already getting excited. So once that opens up, only 20 school owners get signed up. All right. So I want to thank you for today. Again, I would never thought an old dog like me could even look at AI. My car can drive itself. There's robo taxis all over San Francisco. It's really strange and wonderful, because it's just wonderment to look at that and go, wow, I never thought we'd see the day people would get into a car with nobody in it and it's driving them around the city. But here we are, right? So I understand technology can serve us very well. But if you allow technology to dumb you down and not be creative, it's going to hurt you, right? It's going to hurt you. Please don't let that happen. Out of laziness, out of lack of discipline to learn something new, that you blindly trust AI to do work for you that you should be doing. Cool. All right. Hey, thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate you, James and Chris and Bob, everybody that hangs out. Anybody that's there in the background, say hi, put your name in there, all that. I would greatly appreciate you. Where can you find me? Of course, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. This Success Never Sleeps are on all the podcast platforms. So if you favor iHeartRadio or Spotify, Amazon, they're all there. Make sure that you subscribe to our Success Never Sleeps. Follow me at Instagram. And for everything else, go to BrannonBeliso.com. Until we talk again, folks, what are you going to go out there and do? Live your best life. Thank you.